welcome back to the channel, fool. Thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. If you like videos like this.
Stop it. Stop. If you attack me like that again, I'll step on your foot. Okay, don't do it. That's a physical assault you just made. Sorry. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. You're not big enough to do that.
Physical assault? Say it again. Normal day in Brazil. And he came just for breakfast.
Does the Vatican run the world?
Most people don't digest this. They're the largest single stockholder in the world. They own the most property in the world that pays no taxes. There's an organization a lot deeper than them called the Solidarity. It's about 2,000-year-old club, and it's in the catacombs of the Vatican. Most people don't know what I'm telling you.
So they meet down there, you're saying?
That's where they are. They only meet there, period.
Right, okay.
They're very high-level profile people throughout the world. You get invited to be in it. Who's running the world? I think they are.
And Rome never disappeared.
Okay.
What's it?
Look at this.
Look at this.
Oh my!
Look at this. And I'm sure
Look at this.
it has a bit of bugs too.
Oh my gosh! I hope it don't.
Look at this.
Watch this.
Look.
Look at that.
Look.
Don't buy cheap mattress
Look what they do.
from anywhere.
They put you.
That's price buster, right?
I guess.
Here. This is crazy, man.
But you know how much we paid? We paid like $250, almost the same as the camera. We paid
This
$250
is garbage. They get it from the garbage.
And they
They
cover
just
it,
cover it
and
for
they sell
you,
it to you.
and they sell it to you.
Oh my
You know how much
gosh!
problem people they have because of this mattresses?
See here? Well, no, they put something here.
See, this is from 1980s.
Look at it.
I'm serious.
No, now I know. I would never ever.
You're lucky it's
Yeah,
clean.
it's
Some
clean.
of them are trashy.
Oh
Don't
my
buy from
gosh.
Price Buster.
Yeah, you're right. And that's what my grandmother was like. We gotta go to him. She wanted to go to you.
You got very good note.
Yeah, she did.
He told me 40th floor. I said, oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Oh no, yeah. We wouldn't set y'all up like that, but it's elevated right there.
Put
Too.
it on TikTok and say, don't
Yeah.
buy from Price Buster.
Yes.
Don't go
And no, I'm not getting you. I'm not getting you.
Don't put the names, man.
Yeah.
And how many?
Oh, that's a pure scam.
This is the most demonic thing I have ever seen taken place at any sporting event in my entire life. What you're looking at is a demon being summoned in the crowd on top of a satanic pentagram, and there's even demonic chants on the banners below the crowd. What you're looking at is a home game of FC Kaiserslautern, also known as FCK, and they're doing a pre-game ritual, and what you're gonna see here is that people are holding up signs, and it creates a satanic pentagram. And as time goes on, you can see the person shifting the camera. On the other side, I believe those words say invincible forever. But then slowly there's a demon that's going to arise. Now, if you look at the bottom, the banners here, they say words in Latin. And if we translate them, let's see what it says. Exaudi nos Lucifer et surge ex abyss sume nimas nostra. Oh my gosh, this says, hear us, O Lucifer, and rise from the abyss, take our souls. What the heck? Now they actually say something else as Lucifer is slowly spawning from the crowd. It says, ad lucem nos Lucifer et surge ex abysso sume animas nostras. Jesus, forgive me for even saying this, but it says, to light us, O star, and arise from the abyss, take our souls. What the heck? I mean, I don't care if their mascot is like a devil or something, whatever the heck it is. This is the weirdest thing I have ever seen. There's got to be some evil energy going on in this game.
Satan is harvesting soul energy. That, guys, is the dream team at work.
Can you give me an example of a food that's a vaccine?
You recognize?
Yes, sir. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also, tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley. And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into tobacco products.
Chairman Clements?
And is that even legal to do in the state of Tennessee, to sell those with a vaccine in them?
You recognize?
Well, I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is there is no law deeming those that when you go into a grocery store, you should know as a consumer, this head of lettuce is a head of lettuce. The head of lettuce right next to it could contain a vaccine in it. All we're saying is if it does have the vaccine in it, make sure it's listed as a pharmaceutical so people can get the proper dosage.
You recognize?
Thank you. Well, my question is right now, can you walk into a grocery store and there be a head of lettuce for sale that has a vaccine in it? I don't think that's allowed under state law presently. And if it is, and you have to list it as a pharmaceutical, are we going to then have Walgreens pharmacists with a refrigerated section? I mean, how's this going to play out?
You recognize?
Thank you. This is more of a consumer protection bill right here, is to make sure that if you're going in to buy tomatoes and there's a polio vaccine in there, that you are aware of what you're buying has a polio vaccine. The problem you have is if it's not treated as a pharmaceutical, being the size and difference between you and me, how many tomatoes do I have to eat to get the proper dosage versus how many tomatoes that you have to eat? And if you eat too many, do you get a overdose?
That's beyond belief, but it's happening. And the best, if you crash, you can rebuild it.
Why are they hiding this from us? Electric cars existed long before Tesla and the new wave of hybrid cars. Back in the early 1900s, electric cars were incredibly popular. 1/3 of all cars in the United States were electric. Today, it's only less than 1%. So what happened? The government and oil industries saw electric vehicles as a threat to their profits. These industries had invested heavily in gasoline technology and infrastructure. To protect their interests, they conspired to suppress electric cars. They used their influence to introduce laws and regulations that favored gasoline vehicles, but it gets much, much darker. In 1980, Stanley Meyer invented a car that ran on water. His water fuel cell split water into hydrogen and oxygen. He was on the verge of revolutionizing the technological landscape. However, Meyer was silenced. He was sued, his patents were revoked, and he faced numerous threats. In 1998, Meyer suffered a sudden heart attack after taking a sip from a carton of cranberry juice, and as he was dying, he kept repeating, "They poisoned me!" After his death, the water engine disappeared from public view, just like the reintroduction of electric cars. So what do you think, will they ever reintroduce cars that once run on water?
And nobody really talks about it.
Balance them.
How you do that?
Balance them. You're supposed to know when it's time to do, when it's time not to. You're supposed to realize you're supposed to be observing your life and not living it. Everybody try to live. That's what everybody's problem is. They want to live. They want to be in control. But the best, you kind of observe your feelings, and you can kind of like guide them so you can be in good control. So what's the better life? The better life is when you know what you're doing, or the better life when you're moving off your emotions of how you feel? Like, for example, somebody knock on the door, say the rent due, you got to pay it by tomorrow. You think, if I ain't got this rent by tomorrow, I'm going to be homeless. So you go out today. When you go out today, you get your gun, you go out today, you rob somebody today, you rob them, bam, you get the money, but you get caught today at 12:09. But when you get caught, you go to jail. But at 3 o'clock, a check came in the mail that you was expecting that you didn't know was coming, but you was in jail before it even came. You changed your reality.
Yeah?
Yeah.
God's timing is everything. Those birds know something we don't.
I choose my purpose over everything else. okay? And this is for your own benefit. It's not like, oh, I'm just trying to force you into church or I'm trying to force you into this. I want you to be better, okay? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
I feel really sick. I'm sorry.
Did you, bro, like what's,
I feel
what
fucking sick. Like,
why?
I don't know. I do not know. I have no idea. Like, that came out of nowhere, but like, what do you want me to do? Like, my stomach was literally just churning. I tried to hold it in. Did you not see me? You literally asked me, was I okay? Obviously, you could see. Sorry. I feel better now, though.
Listen, Jasmine, I think we should try this another night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should try this another night.
You might be right.
One piece of advice, bro. Run fast.
The Roman Catholic Church was not started by Jesus. It was started by a Roman emperor. And it was headquarters in Rome, not the heaven. He was mixing Judaism and Mithraism and some of the other religions of the Arabic world that also worship the sun, and brought all of these different religions together in order to confirm the power of Caesar in Rome under one religion and one government. It was actually a world government, supposedly at the time. Catholic means universal, meaning whatever, air is Catholic, because air is all over the world. Water is Catholic. Anything which is all over the world is Catholic, because it's a Latin word that means universal. Constantine was trying to unite all the religions of the Roman Empire into one. Religious divisions are very dangerous, and they can also harbor treason and anti-government. And so Caesar realized if he could bring all the religions into one religion and call it Christianity, and yet it would have all the parts of everybody else's religion. It would have Judaism, worship of the sun. It would have Yahweh as a part of it. It would have Mithraism as a part of it, so that everyone could agree to follow one religion which Caesar would rule from.
Phoenix, Arizona was founded by multiple Freemasons, and soon after became home to other fraternal organizations. What's interesting about that is Phoenix sits on the 33rd parallel, which this red line represents. In previous videos, I've discussed all the anomalous events surrounding the Four Corners area, which is why I found this hotspot interesting on a ley line map. And the symbolism behind naming this city Phoenix is because the mythological phoenix represents rising from the ashes. And this land was once home to the Hohokam people, which is an ancient civilization said to have been around 300 BCE to 1400 CE. Their largest hub was called Snake Town, and now sits the Valley of the Sun, because the sun's east to west travel runs parallel to Phoenix's grid-like design. Back to the 33rd parallel, the Great Pyramids of Giza sit on the 33rd parallel, as well as Baghdad, Iraq, which is interesting because there's a Baghdad, Arizona, a mining town near the 33rd parallel. Not far from Phoenix are the Blythe geoglyphs, which sit on the 33rd parallel. Roswell crash site is on the 33rd parallel. How about the symbolism behind the first atom bomb? Because during the term of Harry Truman, the 33rd president, Trinity Testing Grounds was on the 33rd parallel, 210 miles south of Los Alamos, New Mexico. If that isn't crazy enough, both Nagasaki and Hiroshima were detonated on the 33rd parallel. Back to Phoenix, I'm sure most aren't aware of Hunt's tomb. Governor George P.W. Hunt entombed his wife in 1931, and then he was put in there in 1934. I'm gonna do a part 2 and go more in depth into the Masonic symbolism within Phoenix.
Help me understand how, in your mind, to the average person who hasn't put amount of time that you have put in, credibility after 1 times 1 times 2, 1 times 1 equals 2. How do you come up with that conclusion?
Well, if I was wrong, then they wouldn't have made such a big stink about it. But the fact that I was able to show them with their calculate that because they have 1 times 1 equaling 1,
right,
an action times an action without a reaction, and as a result of it, you get this contradiction with the square root of 2 being cubed having the same value as the square root of 2 times 2, which should say a red flag, a herring right away that there's something wrong with the mathematics, with that being the problem that leads into the distribution of prime numbers, because the number 2, any prime number that you subtract from another prime number, always is going to end up in a composite number. But except with the case of the number 2. That's the only prime number that you subtract from another prime number and you end up in a prime number. Why? Because the prime number 2 is a composite number.
You gotta forget the basics.
Just got a text message from one of my friends saying, Marcus, why was there an Antichrist image on the back projector when you were performing in Colorado last week? And I was confused because I'm like, what? No, there wasn't. So I messaged everybody that I work with going, yo, was there an Antichrist image behind me when I was performing? And they confirmed, yes, there was. And I had no idea that this was going on behind me. When I flew to Colorado to perform, I was rehearsing in my headphones. I didn't have an actual, in-person rehearsal with everybody, but I trusted that everybody was gonna know the vibe and know what Hobson represents, and I trusted that they would know what I don't represent. And to know that this was projected behind me while I'm rapping and I'm performing songs like Ill Mind 7 and it has an Antichrist logo behind me, that's not the vibe, man. That's not what I'm on. That's some satanic that I don't with, and that controls my perception. That completely manhandles my perception and controls it and makes everybody think that I'm this, and it's no longer about whatever I'm talking about, because they're seeing these images pop up behind me and they're gonna think that I did it. And to everybody who saw it, I take full accountability, because that's my fault for dealing with don't know what the option is, and I got around me who are shaky as but I genuinely apologize if any of that made you uncomfortable, because it would have made me uncomfortable. It really would have. It makes me uncomfortable just knowing that it existed. And nobody told me. Why am I finding out through one of my friends and nobody even bothered to tell me that went on behind me while I'm rapping? That's up. And now I look like one of those industry plants that do some satanic rituals. I don't know if that's true or not, but I look like one of them right now. And I look like I'm trying to sweep it under the rug and, oh yeah, whatever. Oh, this is just because he's about to make a sacrifice. I don't with that. I don't with that. Never have.
Gotta fire everyone.
This spiritual war that we're in is fought with intelligence, not through brute force. Love, laughter, high humor, high states of joy. When you're in those frequencies, there's nothing they can do, and it's about being in love and realizing that love is your greatest weapon. It can alchemize anything, but you have to have the bravery and the courage to stay in it when what is taking place around you seems bad. We have to alchemize the dark and the light. Look at Luke Skywalker and look at Darth Vader. They're both using the same energetic blueprint, the same energetic template. They're just using it for different reasons.
Right.
The force is the same. So the force is in the dark, the force is in the light, and we get to just decide how we want to use it. But inside all of us, we have darkness. Inside of all of us, we've got light.
Right.
We have to alchemize all of our wholeness. Now, at the same time, within these structures of darkness, there are different kind of levels to the game. You have interdimensional entities that are like pawns, and they're controlled by higher dimensional negative beings. These beings, where there's a hierarchical system, are here to control us and manipulate us. At the same time, they're part of our game. They're part of our structure. And if it wasn't for them, how are we going to up-level?
Hey y'all, I got a very crazy and interesting video for y'all to check out over here from Ohio. Now, this was from the storm from last night. You guys can see this lightning and this plasma going crazy, but it's what you're going to hear that's going to throw you off. And I know it's going to throw you off because me listening to it also threw me off, y'all. What do you think this is? Please let me know down in the comments below, because this thing gave me chills, y'all. Listen to this. Now watch the sky, because as soon as the plasma and lightning starts going off, that's when the noise starts. And we're going to get a whole bunch of different colors out here, y'all. But listen to this. Y'all hear that growling? And my friend told me that this was no wind. You can clearly see that, look, the trees are not blowing or anything. So what is it? Literally sounds like somebody's breath.
Giants are waking up.
It's Malaysian wood.
How much is it?
$70,000.
$70,000
for a piece of wood. So how much oud liquid can you get from this piece of wood?
Like you can said 300 gram.
300 grams?
Yes.
And how do you actually get it? How does that turn into the liquid?
You have to boil it for days and days and days.
I was hoping this was AI.
This week, New York State bans laundry detergents Arm & Hammer, Tide, and Gain for recently testing above the new legal limit for a probable carcinogen called 1,4-dioxane. The CDC states that it can be harmful to the eyes, skin, lungs, kidneys, and can even cause cancer. Now, the thing is, the synthetic chemical is still in laundry detergents, but the ones that were banned tested above the new legal limit. In doing this research, I found terrifying information that this chemical is found in the tap water in 45 states across the nation, affecting over 90 million Americans. The California Department of Toxic Substances said it is concerned about the potential adverse impacts on Californians from exposure, especially children. This contamination is due to runoffs from solvent production, industrial spills, and discharges from municipal wastewater plants. No federal maximum limit for drinking water has been established, which is frightening because not only are we wearing these chemicals, we are ingesting them.
You heard that? Legal limit.
If you lose your damn man card,
What is that? What do you mean by that?
you give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Now, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
Man, I mean, you know, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principle. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
His assistant knew what the hell was going on. And why is she crawling away? It was just my Tio going home.
Walmart Supercenter. Look at the trees and look at the background. Okay, you guys kind of moving around. That's them at Walmart. It's a projection on the trees. They're not really the trees or anything like that. Look at the purple background. Look at everything behind it too. All moving. Every bit of it's moving. This is them at Walmart. Believe it or not.
Are we guys living in a holographic simulation?
Oh my god. There's no way this actually happened. And the fact that no one else is talking about this video. Because what I just witnessed made me realize I can never believe what they tell me ever again. And only 99% of you will be able to stomach this. Miley Cyrus grew up and became a Disney sensation and is hands down one of their biggest stars, where she's transitioned to actual music. And then somewhere along the way she went a bit crazy. We all know this. But what if this whole time, the person that we thought that played Hannah Montana wasn't actually Miley Cyrus? And the truth is that people are saying that she was replaced, and that this whole time we were misled by Hollywood because they didn't want to get rid of their actual biggest star. I mean, just disgusting.
It's rumored that they create all of us Disney kids. I definitely wasn't created in a lab, and if I was, there must have been a bug in the system which caused me to malfunction somewhere between the years of 2013 and 16.
They can clone your and replace you.
Maybe you shouldn't sing the happy birthday song anymore. Have you ever thought about where it came from or why we sing it? Isn't it weird that whenever someone's birthday is celebrated, candles are lit, lights are turned off, and everyone gathers in a circle to chant "Happy Birthday" to you, almost like a witch's ritual. There's documentation suggesting that ancient humans lived for hundreds of years, but nowadays, despite our advancements, lifespans seem to be decreasing. Legend has it that the Happy Birthday song was created as a curse by fallen angels to conceal a ritual that seals one's fate to age, potentially controlling population growth and human civilization. Many people believe that each time you participate in this ritual, you accelerate your aging process. This song is often one of the first things children are taught, unknowingly initiating them into this ritual from a young age. So, the next time a birthday celebration approaches, remember this as the underlying reason. When was the last time you found yourself singing Happy Birthday, and to whom did you sing it?
Happy birthday to you. Just demonic. And that's how my dreams look like.
Who so-called made it and not giving back. If you can go to the club and spend $80,000 on bottles, and you can spend $10,000 to go in the club, but you haven't done nothing to help the neighborhood. You know, this young man just gave out 500 pair of tennis shoes, and he's about to give out another 500 pair of tennis shoes. Lamar.
Big Tariff from Big U. That's when you rent, not own.
In Oklahoma, there have been more drownings that are unexplained, people disappearing on the water, on lakes in this area, than any other place in the world. Now, a lot of people attribute this to what they believe is some sort of giant aquatic creature that lives in 3 lakes in Oklahoma. Now, I've studied this extensively, and I believe, without a doubt, there is something residing in Lake Thunderbird. Now, this story comes from actually Lake Thunderbird. There was this fisherman who said one night he went out on his bass boat, and he was out in the middle of the lake. He had cast several lines out, and he said he was just sitting there in his boat. He said, you know, it was just a calm, clear night. The moon was out. There wasn't another boat in sight. And he said he just got this like eerie feeling. And he noticed just how calm, how still and placid the water was. And he said it was just like very quiet, which was odd. And he said all of a sudden, off in the distance, he hears a loud splashing sound. And then over in the other direction, he hears another loud splashing sound. And then in another direction, he hears this loud splashing sound. And he said as he looked out over the water with the moonlight shining on it, he started to see sort of this wake appear, and something very large was moving in the water towards his boat. And it got within a few meters, and then he said it just submerged it, and the water was calm. And so he said, you know what, I'm out of here, I'm pulling the lines in, and I'm gonna leave. So he started reeling his lines in, and he said the next thing he remembers, like, he felt this sharp pain up the back of his leg all the way to his back. And he finds himself flying out of the boat into the water and going under. And he said the water was just murky, dark, he couldn't see anything. Something had a hold of him and was pulling him under. And he said that's when he sees these 2 luminous eyes that are staring at him. And he just started to fight as hard as he could to get out of like whatever this was hold. He said he managed to get free, and he starts swimming towards the light of his boat, gets up in his boat, and he just accelerates towards the shore. He gets to the dock, gets out of the boat, and he goes up to the shore. And that's when he notices he has several lacerations all up his leg and all up his back. And he said right at that moment, he heard a loud splashing sound right by the dock. And he said there was this canoe that was tied off. And he said these like tentacles came out of the water, grabbed onto this canoe, and submerged this thing. And he said it just terrified him, and he ran out of there and has not been back to this place since. This second story takes place in the same area at the RV park. There was a woman who was staying there. She takes her dog one night for a walk along the lake. And she said she just remembered hearing splashing sounds coming from the water. And at first she thought it was just like a fish, but she said, you know, whatever it was really large. As she's walking along the water line, she said she just kept hearing the splashing, like whatever this was following her. Then it got quiet for a little bit, and she said, well, it must be gone, whatever it was. She said the next thing she knows, her dog just starts barking and alerting her to something. She looks up ahead, and she said she sees this thing that was as large as a cow, and it's dragging itself along the shore. And she said her dog managed to slip the leash and takes off running towards this thing. She hears her dog yelp. This thing grabbed her dog and just starts dragging it into the water. And she said, it just threw her off guard and like terrified her. And she couldn't believe that there was something in the water that could take a 90-pound dog and just drag it into the water like it was nothing.
Nah, that was personal.
This is what you get when you live in the bourbon capital of the world. This is what distilleries do to cars, so you wonder what we're breathing in every day. Whew, look at that. Compliments of the bourbon industry. That's crazy, isn't it? That car was silver at one point. But that's what happens when you don't clean your car out here. It's crazy, ain't it? Bourbon capital of the world, the whiskey we drink.
I can't count the number of times that somebody has said that telekinesis and the things that I show you on this platform are demonic or satanic. And I'd like to refer to the Bible in Acts 19:6. And when Paul had laid his hands upon them, the Holy Ghost came unto them, and they spoke with tongues and prophesied. Or Romans 8:11, if the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Christ Jesus from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through his spirit who dwells in you. Or Luke 17:21, nor will the people say, look, here it is, or there it is, for lo, the kingdom of God is within you. And to that I say, amen.
Is in tune with his chakras. And that's a wrap for today, fool. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me. Smash that subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.